a thing. He discovers cooking. It was in the Far East. Man discovered it's easier to cook an animal when it's not running about. Barbecued spare ribs. We are now looking at an early Anglo-Saxon family cooking their evening meal. The fire's burning on a flat stone, and the smoke escapes the best way it can. This is known as the Dark Ages. King Alfred once visited a cottage like this. He was travelling incognito. The woman in the cottage asked the king to watch some cakes she had baking while she went out to Bangor, or as it was then known, Bingo. He let the cakes burn because he was thinking. He was inventing something which would contain the fire and make it easier to cook on. What he had in mind was a kind of iron basket. From that day on, the king was known as Alfred the Great. In 1066, as you've probably heard, England was conquered by the Normans. As all English kings up to the Tudors were middle-aged, this period was known as the Middle Ages. The Normans built castles all over England, and because barons in the Middle Ages ate enormous meals, these castles had enormous kitchens. The trouble was that the kitchens were usually a considerable distance from the great hall where the baron had his dinner. As the centuries passed, noblemen ceased to build castles and built large and comfortable houses. These became larger and grander, culminating in the splendid stately homes of the 17th and 18th centuries. The dining rooms of these great houses were still a long, long way from the kitchens. It was no fun being a footman. In Victorian times, new patented cookers came on the market. These were advertised as easy to clean and easy to like, but sometimes they weren't. Perhaps that's what made Victoria cross. The old clack pump in the sink was replaced by piped water, which gave you as much water as you wanted, where you wanted it. A machine was invented to take the backache out of polishing steel knives. And an early type of patent pressure cooker was successfully demonstrated. So we come to the present day. Let's take a present-day girl. Meet Annie. Now, Annie hasn't got a castle full of people to feed as the Norman women had, nor has she got 100 servants. In fact, she hasn't got any servants at all. But what Annie has got is something to do all the dishes, the pots and pans, dispose of her kitchen waste, cope with things like potato peeling and vegetable shredding. That something is called her husband, Harry. Now, suppose Annie gets faced with the problem of planning a kitchen. How does she go about it? There are all sorts of reasons why she might be faced with the problem. Perhaps Harry's lucky and finds an old cottage which needs just a tiny bit of renovation. Or a modern flat where the previous owner was so proud of her beautiful kitchen that she took it with her. Or perhaps there's a new kitchen being built on an old house. Whatever the reason for planning a kitchen is, the approach is the same. First come the dreams. Everybody has a dream kitchen. The reality is that Annie must decide what her kitchen is to be used for. That's her first step. The basic activities in a kitchen are storage and preparation of food, cooking, serving, and washing up. But in addition, there are perhaps cleaning things to be stored, a thing to heat the water, possibly the family's washing and ironing to be done. And then there are the kitchen gadgets, and most families have some little hobby. There are other things for Annie to keep in mind, not to have a door between the cooker and the working surface. Heavy damages for this sort of thing have been awarded in the squash courts. There should be plenty of storage space so that cupboards don't get too crowded. Cabinets shouldn't be too high up so that they have to be reached for. correct height is important for work surfaces too, and you should find out the right height to suit her. Lighting's important too. Many old kitchens are very badly lit, and a bore in the hand is worth two in the mush. With modern light fittings, there's no reason why you can't have light exactly where you want it. It's important for Annie and Harry to spend some time planning their kitchen colour scheme. This will mean a certain amount of friendly discussion. There's always some kind of compromise available. Kitchen floors must never be slippery. And there should be enough electrical power points, and not all in the same place. Now we come to the three most important units of the kitchen: the cooker, the sink, and the fridge. In a badly planned kitchen, these three most used pieces of equipment are so far apart that the good wife in question trots hundreds of miles too many every year. So how do Annie and Harry set about planning all this? Quite simply by drawing out a scale floor plan of the kitchen and then cutting out little bits of cardboard to represent the items. All manufacturers give dimensions on their... Now ideally the cooker, sink and fridge will be together on the same wall. But possibly your floor plan doesn't quite allow this. Some kitchen areas have very odd shapes. These three items should form a triangle so that you don't have to walk more than 20 feet between the three of them. Let's take a closer look at the cooker. All cookers must have a bit of working surface on both sides, preferably white. This is partly for efficiency, but also so that your saucepan handles don't stick out into the traffic. And don't locate the cooker where it could form a fire hazard. Almost everyone likes their sink to be under the window. The light's good there, which is important. And it's nice for the parents to see where the children are playing. Nice one, Annie. In choosing a fridge, be sure it's not too big or too small, but just right for the needs of your family. In addition to the big three, cooker, sink and fridge, there are all sorts of other things for Annie and Harry to think about. Ventilation equipment, perhaps, hot water supply, cupboards and storage cabinets, something to tip the kitchen waste into, laundry equipment, and all the things that go into a modern kitchen. Well, to plan these, it's back to the old scissors and floor plan, and I'll play you two quick games before supper. If you run into trouble fitting everything in, there are tricks like doors that slide into the wall instead of opening into the room, and split-level cookers with the oven and the hob in different places. There's an enormous range of kitchen equipment available these days, in all colours and in various prices. Everything you could possibly want, and some things you can't have. The trick is to use what you need, eliminate what you don't, and you, or